Last night, authorities in Austin, Texas, arrested the Liver King on charges of terrorism after he threatened Joe Rogan while holding a pair of golden guns in his hands.
Joe Rogan, I'm calling you out. My name's Liver King. Man to man. I'm picking a fight with you.
This story is still unfolding, but I'm going to do my best to break down what we know about his motives based on his increasingly unhinged social media posts over the last few days.
Did somebody say that I was going to kill somebody?
If you haven't heard of Brian Johnson, aka the Liver King, before, he's a social media influencer known for his outlandish physique that he originally credited to his diet of organ meats, mostly liver, but also bull testicles. Before, Derek Thompson at More Plates, More Dates exposed that the real secret to that physique was an extensive steroid regimen. This wasn't a shock to anyone who had been following him on social media, as there was simply no way that a person would look like that by following Johnson's, quote, ancestral tenets. After his fall from grace, Liver King made a public apology.
I've done steroids, and yes, I'm on steroids.
But it seemed that his audience didn't accept it. His popularity only seemed to decline. His social media posts slowed down, and the profits of his supplement business also began to wind down.
Just for the record, I've never taken steroids.
We saw existing customers drop.
Then, on March 17th of this year, a new Netflix documentary exposed his whole story to a mainstream audience. And his response that he posted on Instagram just a few days later is where our story really begins.
As a family, we said yes to making a movie. Most of it seems to be true.
The comments on that post called him a liar and a fraud, and this seemed to start something like a break from reality.
I don't think anybody was ready for what was going to come out when you have all these eyeballs on you.
Here's my guess. Liver King was hoping that the Netflix documentary would clear his name and show a perspective on his 35-year transformation from a guy at a gym to the king of liver, and someone whose ancestral tenets helped millions of people in a way that would soften the blow to his reputation. When it didn't turn out that way, Johnson felt that his last hope at redemption had gone out the window.
You're a liar, Netflix.
And this is what led to that psychotic break. Because on June 15th, just 5 days ago, Johnson posted this extremely troubling rant on Instagram with his face covered in blood and twigs in his beard. In it, he talks about the eternal truth of his ancestral principles and his love for his family before alluding to the fact that certain entities have been trying to destroy him.
To remind me to not say the three entities that are evil as fuck that thought you could make money by trying to destroy, by doing things that weren't true. Remind me to not say their names.
My interpretation of this is that he's just come down from some sort of vision quest in the wilderness, possibly with the aid of some psychedelic substances. The wounds on his face might be from an accident on his journey, but they could also be self-inflicted. But it's not until 2 days later that he brings up Joe Rogan specifically.
I'm picking a fight with Joe Rogan. I'm picking a fight, I am, because it's out of principle.
Whatever principle he's talking about is not entirely clear, but it does seem that he's upset, at least in part, because of an interview that Rogan did with Derek Thompson about the Liver King story when it first broke and how he was on these superhuman amounts of testosterone.
Now that we know that he's full of shit, we're talking about the Liver King, by the way.
And here Liver King seems to be responding to that specifically.
Talking to like people like More Plates, More Dates, and Vigorous Sleazeball and Joe Snurl, man, who tried to attempt to direct a lie that they called the untold truth about a man that knows the truth, that's articulate enough to say, hey, you fake Jews, you're actually the fake one.
Liver King's approach to Rogan is a bit muddled to me, because while on one hand he posts seemingly threatening messages about hurting Rogan, he also seems to be courting his attention.
I'm picking a fight, just in case y'all don't know, with Joe Rogan. Could y'all tell him to watch these videos?
And then he states that he's headed to Austin the next day and will apparently ambush Rogan if need be.
I'm coming to Austin tomorrow, bro. All of us. I'm driving there at about 4 o'clock, and I'm going to fight you. And I don't care where you are. I'm just going to wait. And whenever you're ready, it could be tomorrow.
In another post, while he's in Houston, he posted even more challenges against Rogan's life.
You're dead, bitch. You're dead. You're dead.
That evening, he presumably drove to Austin, and from his hotel room at the Four Seasons, he went on this confusing rant about how the fight will come with free Wi-Fi, for which the password would be...
The password is... fuck you, Joe Rogan.
At this point, it seems that authorities caught wind of a potential threat to Rogan's life, and the police asked Rogan if he felt threatened. Well, Rogan did feel threatened and pressed charges. Then, according to ABC News, detectives obtained an arrest warrant for Johnson on the charge of terroristic threat. In the last series of videos that Johnson posted, he's aware that he's about to be charged and taken to jail. His wife helps him pack out the clothes that he's going to wear while in lockup. He instructs his team then to give a box to Rogan's team at Rogan's offices, which is known as the Mothership.
If I'm arrested, I don't know for how long, this container goes to Mothership.
As I record this, Liver King is in police custody, and I assume they will go in front of a judge sometime tomorrow morning to make a plea. So what does this all mean? I think we're witnessing Liver King's break with reality. After an initial launch into superstardom, Liver King's fall from grace devastated him, and he was looking for any way to redeem himself in the public eye. He saw some hope for redemption with the Netflix deal, but when that failed to materialize, he broke down mentally. At some point during this vision quest in the woods, he decided that his last, best hope was to find salvation at the feet of Joe Rogan. He assumed that Rogan's audience would be able to see the true Liver King and learn all the nuances of his story from his own lips.
He was trying really hard to get on the podcast, and he's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine, and some of them that have, like Bert Kreischer, that had him on the show.
Yeah, he told me he's trying to get on.
Yeah, for what? For what? Say that more? Like, come on, this is dumb, man. This is a fucking, you ran a con game, and you got busted.
When it was clear that Rogan wasn't going to do a 3-hour sit-down with him, Liver King concocted the idea of fighting Rogan to draw attention to his situation. Perhaps Liver King believed that he would find catharsis if they just fought it out. These are the facts as I know them right now. Tell me what you think of them. Did I get this right? Maybe you have a better interpretation of how it all fits together. I'd love to know down in the comments. From PokeyBear LLC in Denver, Colorado, this was Scott Carney Investigates the Liver King. Thank you so much for all of my supporters on Patreon and on Substack who make this work possible. The contributions you give keep this sort of independent journalism on the air, and I really just could not do it without you. If you want to get early access to my work and get your name on the honor roll right over there, please sign up at the links down below. From PokeyBear LLC in Denver, Colorado, this was Scott Carney Investigates.